welcome to the American Business Podcast. This is Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you to episode 80, and we are in the season 3. Well, this is really exciting. We just made it 80th episode, and we are getting closer and closer to the 100th episode. That's our goal for this year. We like to pass 100 episodes. That's where we are going towards. That's our target. And today's number is 80. This is the size of US real estate market, $80 trillion. And as you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. And quote of the day is the beginning is the most important part of the work. Today we have a great guest. We'll talk about entrepreneurship. We'll talk about how to start and how to scale a business in US and globally. And we'll learn more about the best business practices. Let's invite our guests to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started in the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Chip, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, hi Kevin. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be with you today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for being with us. How are you? How is your week going so far?
I'm doing great. Yeah, fantastic. It's been a good day so far. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm happy that you are with us today. We have a lot to cover. We have a lot to learn from you, from your professional insights and from your professional wisdom. So I'm personally excited. I'm sure our audience, they're excited as well. So let's get the conversation started, if that's okay.
All right.
Well, as a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience briefly?
Yes. My name is Chip Higgins. I'm the founder of Bizix LLC. It's a small business coaching and consulting practice. I founded it in 2019 after 40 years in the banking industry. And during that time, I dealt with businesses of all kinds, owner-managed businesses and all stages of development and all kinds of industries. And it's been a pleasure to work with companies one-on-one in a coaching situation. And we continue to find new ways to reach people that need someone to talk to.
How did your career started? How it has unfolded over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of an unusual banker. I actually wanted to get into banking. Most people fall into banking and they can't figure out how they got there. But I grew up in a banking town in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with a very notable brand, Wachovia Bank. And North Carolina was way ahead of its time on statewide branching. So there's a lot of strong banks there, Wachovia, First Union, NCMB, which is now Bank of America. And I was really drawn to the work. I knew a lot of, had friends whose parents worked in banking, and it was a combination of some pretty good reasoning skills, but a lot of relational skill and community connection, which is really important to me. So in 1984, I joined the training program with First American Bank here in Nashville. It's now Regions Bank after a couple of mergers, but it was a great career. I served directly with business owners and also in executive positions, just kind of shaping up the small business experience for those banks. And just finally reached a point where I felt like there was, I had recognized more need than credit, capital availability, and felt like I was uniquely suited to get out there and start talking to people in a meaningful way about their businesses.
Let's talk about your day-to-day work, if that's okay. What are the challenging and exciting parts of your work on a daily basis?
I think it's challenging to find business owners who are willing to commit to the process. I think there's some frustration out there, annoyances that business owners have almost decided to absorb as just part of their routine, and you're making a decisive step to work on it and figure things out, and maybe take on additional work and responsibility to make the business stronger, make it grow bigger, is a little daunting for people. And I tend to talk a lot about possibility. People get locked into a paradigm or a framework and just try to get people over the hump to say, we can start anywhere you like. It doesn't have to be anything big. Let's just take a first step towards something that's bigger and more impactful than what you're doing right now. So I think that's probably, it's a big psychological hurdle for people, whether it's therapy or coaching. It seems to be a big, just kind of a big jump for people to jump in and say, I'm going to start talking to someone who's a stranger now. And just kind of see where this goes. So that's probably my single biggest challenge.
What type of businesses you are typically working with in general?
I would say, you call it Main Street America. I think, when I wrote my book last year, it's really targeted toward companies that have started. I think the book can be helpful to any company, really, even if it's someone thinking about getting into business. But I think there's a scaling point that is overlooked that ends up being really expensive down the road, and it's usually, you've grown to maybe $500,000 to $1 million in revenue, maybe 2 million. You've got maybe 5 or 10 employees at the most, and you just realize your head's been down for a long time, and there's a lot of things that you need to work on, and whether that's culture or just having a stated a strategy for the next 3 years. There are things that we overlook, and when you overlook them and you continue to grow despite yourself, you find yourself paying a lot of money for people to come in and almost run the company for you to get some things in place. So that's what we try to do, is really just help people understand how momentum is built in business. There's some very basic things that you need to do that can be overlooked in your zeal for the next sale. Get the foundations right, and you'll be surprised at how far you can go with really just a few things in place in your business, whether it's culture, your values, or whatever it is. So that's really kind of what we do.
Well, you're a published author. Can you tell us about your book?
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you about my book. So my theme when I started my coaching practice was momentum, and I kept hearing people talk about how much they wanted momentum. It would come up in conversations, and I wasn't a great science student in high school, but I knew enough to remember it wasn't a complicated equation. It was mass times velocity. And the more I heard it, I just started getting a little bit annoyed. Like, if people, do they really understand it? And if they do understand it, can they implement it? So that was the path I went down, and developed some ideas, and ended up connecting with Forbes Books. And it's 8 chapters, 200 pages. It's called The Bizix Way, Powering Your Small Business to Maximum Momentum. And basically what we do in the book is deconstruct the formula and tell you exactly how it applies. And I think what's beautiful about it is that you get into these laws like momentum. They're universal laws, and sometimes we think they're only physical laws, but they really affect everything that we do. And it was a joy to kind of pick it apart with a real physicist friend of mine, who's a Caltech physicist, to listen to him and have it all connect. For me, it really boils. There's probably 10,000 business books out there, Kevin, and it's like, how many can people read? And if you read them all, you come to the same conclusion. Like, this is really fundamental. It's about energy and direction, and building mass, scaling up your company with really heavyweight people. And how do we go about doing that? So I think it kind of cuts the noise out a little bit, but the message is enduring, and it's been very well received. I mean, I've got 5 #1 bestseller rankings on Amazon, and very easy to read. And in addition, there's about 20 or 25 planning templates in the book. There's a QR code in the book to get to that section. And I'm trying to resource people. It's a huge market. When you talk about this size business, there's probably 30 or 40 million of them in the United States. And part of my book too is just the wonderment of where people go for information now, and knowing that there's a lot of information on the internet that's not necessarily curated, that you could end up working on the wrong thing. So it's kind of a scalability thing for me to have a book out there, and I've thoroughly enjoyed writing it and talking to people about it. So thank you for bringing that up. You can tell I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations on the success of your book. And I know how much effort. I can imagine how much effort that you put in your book, and you have decades of experience. I'm sure there are a lot of things.
It helped. I mean, having seen so much in banking, it really helped draw just kind of the inferences from the equation into how it really works. And the examples are not Coca-Cola International. It's like Charlie Irwin Painting Company down the street, and you can see these things in action at a very very small scale. So
absolutely, and it's very important when we think about it. There are more than 30 million businesses in US, and most of them are small businesses. Right. And when we look at the scale of small businesses and their contribution to the economy nationally and globally, small business is a big business fundamentally. That's actually what it means.
So I used to say at the banks, there's nothing small about small business. It's a huge multiplier effect of, owners, employees, the community, and, people's hopes and dreams. I mean, that's really important to me too, that, there's a lot of inspiration that goes into starting. And, we're still hovering at, 50% failure rate in 5 years. It was that way 40 years ago when I started in banking. And, I continue to scratch my head, like, how can we not get good advice and ideas to people that allow them to follow a path to be successful? And, that's a big motivation for me, that, when you're all in and decide to leave something and start something up of your own and have that kind of vulnerability that you're putting yourself out there, like, you need the best support possible to make that happen. So that's kind of what it's about.
A couple of months ago, we had a representative from SBA, Small Business Administration.
Yes.
We covered that extensively in terms of how businesses are being started, what is the percentage of failure, reasons, and what is the right time to start. So that was my question to the SBA representative, and his answer was, well, the right time to start is right now. Just start right now. So it's amazing, because just
started at a tree. It's an hour 10 years ago. I don't know which one. So yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, and I think maybe we can think about what it means to start. And I've seen people start in a way that was counterproductive. And I think that these are organic things that are coming to fruition from deep inside people. And you've got to allow them time to gestate and come to fruition without, harming your family or yourself personally or your finances or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I just think there's a ton of testing that goes on, try to figure out what people need, and even more importantly, how you're going to be distinctly different in your market for, how you define the market, that you're not just jumping in to find a job. I mean, it's a big E-Myth principle that, you spent some time with people and you understand them, you have the experience to do it, and you're willing to give it a try and see if, what you have in mind is distinctly different. And when it is, it's the best in the world, just to see how people are helped by that. And, all the people that get employed, I mean, it's a huge multiplier effect that we ought to be really proud of what these risks that people are taking out there.
Mm-hmm. You work with different organizations in different sizes, primarily small businesses, as we discussed. And based on your observation, what type of leadership challenges that you see in U.S. businesses that you are working with, and based on your observation in general?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Yeah, great questions, Kevin. I think, especially coming from the banking industry where, there are so many titles and so many levels that people are aspiring to, from banking officer to assistant vice president on up. I just think that we have the lack of leadership training in our youth leads us to a very distorted view of what leadership is. And that's where I find the big gap, especially in the pressure-packed moments that we ascend to titles because of performance in a certain area, but we really haven't been trained or taken the time to train ourselves about what leadership really is. And, I think that it's accessible. I mean, I was founding member of the John Maxwell team in 2011. I teach leadership whenever I can. I do it for free. I think it's so important to our society, that people understand what leadership is. And for some reason, I don't know if it's fear of people ascending beyond them, but I think companies underinvest in that kind of development. And the companies that are investing, you kind of see the result of it. I mean, it's all about results in the end. I mean, great leadership produces great results. And anyone that's willing to take the risk and train somebody or invest in them early in their career and show them exactly what leadership is and isn't is going to have, just a manifold payoff from whatever that investment is. I just think it's misunderstood and misapplied, and I feel like it ends up being about almost like a power base. And anybody that writes about leadership would tell you it's about servanthood in the end. I think that's what, and that's very, very hard to pull that apart, when you're in a corporate hierarchy, that what you're really trying to do is serve other people and not climb the next rung. So in small business, I find that it extends, I was speaking about corporate before, but, I think there's a limitation on how these smaller companies can grow for the same reason, that they're afraid of it. And, when they get to a point that they need to go from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 5 employees, the panic about how they're going to lead that is a big limiting factor on it. And it's not that hard to learn. I just feel like if your heart is in it and you want to become a leader, you can do it. And it's it's a difference maker. So I'm a big believer, proselytizer, whatever. I just I love it when people lock onto leadership. And as in the book, there's a chapter dedicated to the school. A friend of mine that I helped with the school in Uganda, and I appreciated so much that I went over there to do some leadership teaching, and he wanted those kids to know it from like first grade. It's like, I mean, the idea of leadership in a third world country like Uganda is completely different. And just to really understand, like, these are the principles that allow things to grow. And we need to do more of that. I know Scouting is a great organization. There are others, but I think the earlier we get to people and get them thinking and with the right mind about it, we're better off.
Yes, and just to support your point, I also meet with different business leaders, business professionals, and I observe myself different leadership skills and actions in different industries. Sometimes business owners, they become industrial leaders. They become the voice of their own industry, their own
Yeah.
their own field, their own practice. Some of them, I see it, they become the leader of their communities, business communities in their own region, in their
Right.
own area. That also, it looks like having a business, being a business leader, taking responsibilities over time, they can also grow to be a leader of an industry, of a business community.
Yeah. I think that it's geometric, the kind of growth and responsibility that comes when you establish yourself as a capable leader. They're so hard to find. I mean, you look at industry, for all the medical professional practices that are out there. I mean, an established leader in corporate America is making multiples what a physician would make. It's a valued skill set for the right person. But I know there's also highly paid leaders that are not leading well either. It's kind of the paradigm that we talked about positional control. But I would say in general, you'd find that leadership skill in your portfolio is highly valued for you to move along and not only grow for yourself, but affect other people, and just, it's kind of like developing a coaching tree. Like people that have worked under you will go on to do good things because they learned it the right way. And I love that idea of multiplying and maybe never seeing the benefit. In certain people, they're going to affect the world and you don't even know it. So
let's talk about AI a little bit.
Oh.
Based on your own observation. Yeah, that's a popular subject, right? And we get a lot of questions from our audience.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. So, based on your observation and professional experience so far, how do you see the impact of AI on business? And from the small business point of view, how they should
I think
adapt to it or apply it?
I'm not exaggerating here. I mean, this is my belief. I think it's kind of like Thomas Edison and electricity and the light bulb and very transformative things that are happening in our society, global society. It's at a point it can't be stopped. I think we've seen enough of it. We understand the benefits of it. But I think people haven't seen enough of it, honestly. I think for the mass of the population, the knowledge of AI is kind of limited to ChatGPT. I mean, it's the most accessible point for, individuals, businesses, or whatever. It's just like, well, let's go to ChatGPT. And yeah, sure, it does. It makes your day more productive. But I think what people are coming to the realization about is that, there are very specific applications of AI that are really what's driving business innovation and growth. And the idea that even in banking, I mean, you think about an industry like banking that's highly regulated, just massive piles of compliance things that they have to do that historically they've had individuals doing that, had high error rates, have had elevated risk because of human error that now can be trained to do it without fatigue. It's like, you can keep up with like mission critical things 24/7 and have absolutely superb quality in the output. I think, when the small business circles that I run in Nashville, I think, you're starting to see more of that orientation toward the application of it. I've seen business owners using like ChatGPT for communications with their teams, things that they can do more of with less time, which is fantastic. But I think a lot of people are still just kind of pecking around at it and trying to figure it out. And I think it is a boon for small businesses that you can literally imagine a C-suite around you as $1 million revenue company that's all driven by AI application. And whether it's strategic planning or, marketing ideas or, whatever it is, I mean, it's all at your fingertips without a full-time hire, without benefits, without, all those things, like you can find that. And, I would add to it selfishly that I've personally moved in that direction with my book. I mean, I have an agent for my book, well-trained agent that's willing to talk to business owners 24/7. And it's ingested my book, all my articles, all my blogs, things that have been important to me over the years. And the feedback that I've gotten has been astounding. I mean, people that use it are just like, I can't believe the conversation I had. I was on with it for an hour, and it was big. I mean, I'm inferring that it's better than me, which is probably correct. But that's what I think about. Like, so many business owners that I've known that are lonely. It's dark. It's lonely. They don't know who to talk to. It's after hours. How do I get a coach? How expensive is it? And, so we have that thing priced at $25 a month. And right now, we've got a promo for $14.99, 24/7 unlimited access that you can be running ideas for your business by it. It's like, this is my situation. It'll ingest an article that you're curious about, upload it and talk to the agent, in the context of the whole like business momentum paradigm. And to me, I mean, that's just kind of a unbelievable idea based where I started. In '84, we didn't even have email. It's like I'm aging myself, but like I remember the steno pool. It's like we dictated things across the street, and they'd bring a document up to us that somebody was typing on a typewriter. It's just, I mean, it's kind of, it's a crazy time warp that I'm in, but I'm very excited about it. I mean, I acknowledge the dangers of it. I think, there's always bad players out there, but I think people just need to be smart about what they're trying to solve, with not only the efficiency, but really the effectiveness of certain functions in their business. I was at a expo in San Diego last week, and I talked to a couple of marketing people, and their thing is like AI lead generation, targeted AI marketing messages on those leads. And so what it gives you is like that, there's going to be experimentation to reach your audience, but it's all truncated because you have this genius, AI agent basically helping you do it all. And I think it's accelerating. It saves money. It's high quality stuff, and I'm a big proponent of it. I mean, I think we're just starting to see how it's going to really embed itself in commerce. Your sound has gone out, Kevin.
I like to shift our conversation to role models and mentors.
Oh yeah.
Have you had any role models and mentors who helped shape your career path?
I have, yeah. I mean, there's a guy here in town named Ed White, and this is funny. People move around at banks. It's kind of one big fraternity of people, but everybody's jumping banks all the time. And Ed hired me into the training program at First American and had a hand in hiring me 3 different times after that. And just a really fine, upstanding person, cares for people, just incredibly solid integrity. And I owe so much to him and, other leaders, Terry Turner at Pinnacle. I've known, he's just a wonderful leader, and always took time, was always interested. And then, from afar, I mean, I'm a UNC graduate, and I never took a class from Dean Smith, but I feel like what he did in basketball with his teams is it's just a course in itself about how you lead and motivate people and get the most out of them. I mean, I think the world of him, and people have written books on his leadership practices. Of course, there's something about John Maxwell that caught me. I had been in different leadership positions in my life as a teenager, going through school, college, and that type of thing. And somebody showed me one day the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And there's something about how John made these principles so accessible, through storytelling, through very basic ideas. And there are a lot of really deep leadership books out there that, are 300 or 400 pages long, but he's just someone I look to as, someone with a lot of wisdom that can tell it very plain where you can understand it. So, those are three. My wife is probably my biggest mentor and has kept me out of trouble for, almost 40 years now. So
That's great.
not afraid to tell me I'm about to make a mistake. So that's a big plus.
Absolutely. Well, if there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way that you like to share with our audience, what would it be?
For me, people are different. Some people are very comfortable with this. I think that for me, it's managing up. I feel like that for some reason, for me, like going to level up and having a lot of conversations was not the best look for the colleagues that I had. Just kind of the peers. And I look back on it now, and I really feel like I missed a lot of opportunities to grow. And not in a sleazy, backstabbing, like I'm showing up or whatever. But I missed a lot of opportunities for growth by saying, well, it's not my place to go talk to a person at that level. And I think if you care about your career and you're willing to own it, that's a really important skill to develop about, spending time with people that can mentor you and really show you a different world that they're at and help you understand how to grow into something like that. So that term managing up, means bad things to a lot of people, but I just think it's a really important skill to master.
If there is a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Well, can I do two if I talk fast? I think my number one mythology movie for me is The Shawshank Redemption, and I think the lesson in that story is just about fortitude and never giving up on yourself, the constant self-belief and finding a way. I've probably seen it 20 times. I absolutely love Shawshank. I think that the book that's affected me the most is Joseph Campbell's Power of Myth. And I think what that released in me is the idea that, we're all on a hero's journey. And if you're in a place in life where you're not the hero of the story, you really need to think about how you're going to bring your authentic self into the world and do something that you are really happy with. And it's just a powerful book that spans millennia, and it's the same story of like how we grow into our greatest version of ourselves. And I recommend it to everybody. So the power myth from a book standpoint would be it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing these insights. Well, what are your biggest interests and passion outside of work?
I've always been a family man. That's I think that's my highest calling. When you have children, like you've got to be present to them. So I spend an awful lot of time with my family. But honestly, I think nature for me is the biggest release. I enjoy hiking. We have some great parks in Nashville, and I like to get out and get lost in nature. My wife enjoys that too, so it's a good thing that we can do together. And when you see a place that you really feel like a picture, a camera cannot do it justice, and you're standing in the middle of it, like it's really a breathtaking kind of spiritual experience. And I'm willing to hike as far as I have to find those places. I think that's what gets me really excited. And I love books too. I just anytime I can dig into a good fiction book, especially, I just love plots and characters and that type of thing.
If you have a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back, and why?
Well, I'll self-reveal something here that will help you understand my answer. But my grandparents are Irish immigrants here, and I've had a few occasions to go over there. And I think that period of time when there were Irish clans and castles and just that style of community would be really fascinating to see. As long as they didn't kill me, for being in the wrong clan. If I could examine what their day-to-day lives were like and how everything worked, I think that would be a really insightful place and time spiritually, and just kind of it's such a unique culture there, and that's where I would go. Probably 1100 era Ireland would be a great time to be in. I'll clean the castle. I don't have to own it.
Just be there and observe and learn.
Hang out. I'll pretend I'm the hunchback.
Well,
Yeah.
So, well, not everything is so easy doing our work, right? Day-to-day career as well as career in general. Um, how to stay motivated and inspired in the face of challenges and hardship in our careers?
Mm. Yeah, I think you've got to have a sense of self and your purpose in life. I mean, I just think if you don't understand yourself and what you're trying to accomplish, who you're trying to serve, the difference that you're kind of trying to make in the world, there's so much that can block you off and get you to stop. And that's a big part in my book. At the very beginning, we talk about entrepreneurial energy and how the greatest entrepreneurs have this incredible vision for serving others. And I think that if you don't have that purpose, if you're all you're about is money, or all you're about is having a big home, I think you're going to hit some times that feel very, very difficult to navigate. But if you have that beacon of who you are essentially as a person, what your strengths are, what you're trying to bring to the world, I think that there's hardly a difficulty that you couldn't overcome, because your commitment is so strong to it. It's almost aligned with your very inner self. So I think that's where you get motivated. I mean, at this stage of what I'm doing with Physics and launching the AI agent, I get discouraged. And then I think, man, what an amazing thing. If AI ever took off in this way, it's worth it. Just keep going. And ultimately somebody's going to see the value in it. And we all have those moments. And, I know we all have hardships. Some hardships are, just mind boggling. I watch people struggle with things, and I don't know how they're even, standing or getting up. And, I think it's got to be a commitment to life and continuing on and being a person in the world that people value. So anyway, you've asked the best questions today, Kevin. Man, I feel like I'm a better person now.
Well, there are more questions. So
all this self-reflection.
So hang tight. There are more questions coming up. So, well, what is your career advice for the next generation?
My advice is to own it, and to be authentic in what you're pursuing. There's a lot of shiny things out there, things that people tell you to, it used to be learn how to code, and now it's like build an app, or, it's just all these things that people tell you are important. And that's the beauty of creation, is everybody's created differently. We have different passions and interests and things that we want to do, and to always honor yourself in a way. But to keep moving forward. And I think sometimes, I have a friend, I'll plug another book right now. I have a friend, Meredith Jones, here in Nashville. She's a probably 3-decade HR person. She just wrote a book, My Career is My Responsibility. And it's all about the ownership that comes from knowing what you want and taking accountability for doing the things that are required for you to get there. And there's no savior coming. I mean, I just believe that, like we are ultimately what we choose to do and commit to. And, that's, I don't know, I would say it's a lost art, but I feel like our mythology has gotten a little bit messed up about, especially how quickly things happen. I think television in particular, you watch a home reno show and you watch the thing transform in 30 minutes and you forget that it took them 6 months. It's just, it takes a while, to be patient, but have a really strong idea of what your purpose is. If you know what your purpose is, the activities you're involved in can take different forms, and just always be open to opportunities and challenging yourself and taking a risk. It's required for growth that you're going to take a risk, and you might not know. And as long as you're on the path that you design for yourself, I think things will work out.
So for those who like to continue this conversation with you, be in touch with you, what is the best way to be in touch with you? Would you like to
Yeah, I
share
mean,
your
just email
LinkedIn
me.
website? Yes.
I'm on LinkedIn, Chip Higgins. You can find me there. Chip.Higgins at Bizix.com. My website is www.bizix.com. And, there's stuff on there to set appointments. But, if you want to talk or whatever, just send me an email. Very accessible. And obviously, Kevin, I hope you're having this experience. I enjoy talking to people. I mean, I enjoy having a good time talking to people. So just know that I'm accessible, and if I have something of value to you that I can offer, that I'm more than happy to engage with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for being with us
Oh,
in
thank
your
you, Kevin. This has
busy
been
schedule.
really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course, I'll also make sure to invite you to our online networking event. We call it the Connection America Business
Okay,
Alliance. So
great.
I'll make sure to invite you, and we're gonna have a different crowd there. And I'm sure all of us will be continue learning from your professional wisdom and insights.
Fantastic. Thanks a million. Really enjoyed being with you.
Yeah, pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for being with us, and I
All
wish
right.
you a great day.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and for our listeners, thank you very much for being with us. I hope you enjoy this episode. That's episode 80. We are getting closer to the episode 100. That is our goal. And we are getting closer really. This podcast is the voice of American business. And in each episode, we invite an expert, a leader, business owner, entrepreneur, and we have these great discussions. There is always something new to learn. And that is how we designed the American Business Podcast episodes. Educational, informative, unfiltered, live first, and non-political, so that we can share the knowledge and we can learn from experts who are coming, joining us as a guest in the American Business Podcast. Great. What else is happening? Would you like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast? Send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also welcome sponsors and advertisers, companies, organizations, and institutions. You can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. If you visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, you'll learn more about the American Business Podcast. You'll also learn about our coming events. The Connection America Business Alliance is one of them. That's our monthly online professional business networking event. You can also see the link to the Connection America Business Alliance and how to register for the business networking event. You'll also learn about our coming schedule in the American Business Podcast, our guests, the subjects that we will be covering, so you can know before we start streaming. As you know, last month we got the YouTube Silver Award because we passed 100,000 YouTube subscribers on YouTube. Now the American Business Podcast is a YouTube Silver Award winner, influential business podcast. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe. I have the QR code right here. You can scan this on the screen and it will take you to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe and join us. Also, we started our membership program, the American Business Podcast membership program, ABP. And if you'd like to support, if you'd like to join the membership program, you can scan the QR code on my screen and it'll take you to our membership page. We have different membership programs. You can pick the one that you like. And we truly appreciate your support and being the American Business Podcast member. I hope you'll join us. Let's talk about our sponsors. Ms. Excel. If you like to learn Excel and other Microsoft business software systems in a fun and engaging way, consider Ms. Excel. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and take a look at their course catalog. Before you check out, I have a discount code, ABP 2025. It is coming from the American Business Podcast and Ms. Excel partnership. And you can get the discount and you can sign up for their Excel and other business software courses. If you are in the market for ERP systems, as well as especially SAP and Oracle ERP systems, accounting software systems, consider iTech Consulting Inc. They are specialized in SAP and Oracle ERP software systems, accounting software systems. And when you scan the QR code, it will take you to their website, and you can learn more about their services. And when you are in touch with them, make sure you learn about them from the American Business Podcast. If you are in the market for an IP software, VPN software system, IP Vanish VPN is something that we are using. We use IP Vanish VPN on daily basis. It's a solid software system for VPN solutions. So if you are in the market for a VPN software, consider IP Vanish VPN. I have their QR code on the screen that you can scan. It'll take you to their website. You can take a look and sign up if you're interested. Great. Well, that's all for the episode 88. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much and have a great day.